Welcome back to Tutorial Tidbits. I'm Elizabeth St. Hilaire, and this week I'm going to give you a sneak peek into my collage application process for florals. I've been teaching florals on Zoom this week, and I've got a beautiful demo piece that I'm going to show you some of my tips and tricks for collage application, and I'm going to give you a little bit of an intro about how a Zoom online Fabulous Florals workshop goes. So if you've got a few minutes, you can learn about Zoom, you can learn about my online workshop, and you can learn a few things about collage application. My most popular workshop is now available online live via Zoom. In this workshop, we work out compositional ideas with thumbnail sketches working from fresh flowers. Once we get a great composition that we're happy with, then we sketch it up onto the substrate. That is in preparation for an acrylic underpainting where we paint the roadmap for collage, capturing the colors, the textures, the values, and all the details of the bouquet. The underpaintings, as well as every other step of the process, are shared on screen so that I can mark up and give individual feedback to every student in the live Zoom classroom. After underpainting comes the fun part. Now we're going to make papers with the gel plate in all the colors of our bouquet, creating a perfect paper palette with lots of techniques, lots of color, and lots of fun. Consider joining me on Zoom for my next Florals workshop. We are going to have a blast in April. So this week I have been teaching on Zoom. I have been teaching my Fabulous Florals workshop, and I wanted to sort of give you a little sneak peek into the process of collage application. I have already been working on and collaging this bouquet, and I'm probably about 90%, 80% finished. But I wanted to show you a few things. So I've established some flowers with really basic, simple shapes. These are sort of fan shapes, and I've simplified those flowers. I've also got some sunflowers here, and I've simplified the amount of petals in the flowers so that it's a little more of an impressionistic feeling and a less accurately, highly detailed rendering. And that's sort of the style, the loose style that I'm going for in collage. In this workshop, we also do what I call leaf prints, and that's right here. These are actually printed from leaves on the gel plate. That's always fun, making the leaf prints. All of the papers are hand painted on the gel plate, and we go through this on Zoom step by step with live commentary and feedback, which is a wonderful way to experience a workshop if you can't do it in person. So I'm going to put this a little lower and give you an idea of how I apply collage over an underpainting. So a lot of this is done. I'm using my gloss gel medium, and the supplies for my videos are always on my website, on the blog. Every week I do a blog post that goes with the tutorial tidbit. So if you're interested in getting the blog in your email every week with a detailed supply list and links to where you can purchase, you can sign up for my mailing list and you'll receive the blog and that information every week. That information is in the upper right-hand corner of your video. So I'm going to take my hand-painted papers and I am going to apply them. I'm going to give you a demonstration of one of these flowers. So we're going to use yellow, and I am going to audition the paper in my process, and that means I'm going to hold it up and say, is it the right color and is it the right value for what I've painted? Because the painting is the roadmap for the collage application. So in the dark areas, that's too light. In the light areas, it's a pretty good match. In the dark areas, this is a little dark. It's a little darker than what I painted. So I go through this audition process with the collage papers that I created on the gel plate until I find one or two or three that are good options. This is a pretty good light yellow. It's a little plain. This is the same one that I used in the sunflower, and although it would be great, I don't want to repeat the paper from the sunflower over here in this flower. Variety, visual variety is the key. So here's a nice light yellow. It's not really, it's a little less lemony though. This is when you realize that with all the paper that you created, sometimes a lot of it is not necessarily usable for this project. So you can never have enough paper. You have to make tons and tons of paper so that you can have stuff that's usable for this project. But if it's not usable for this project, it will be usable for something in the future. So here's a really nice light yellow. I'm going to tear this and I'm going to create my petal on the light side. I work from the back to the front. So I've already done the eucalyptus leaf and I've already done the purple flowers because these yellow flowers are on top. So I always work from the back to the front. I've got my yellow paper. I've got my glue brush. Again, this is going to be on the supply list. This is the only brush that I use to glue down my collage papers. It has a rigid bristle, very rigid, and that is my tool to keep everything flat and to spread the glue under and over each piece of paper. I like the short handle because I hold it in my hand and I never put it down. So I tear my papers and I glue and I do things and I don't put the brush down. So this short handle really works well. And it's a filbert shaped tip. So the filbert is the tapered rounded edge, and that is the best one for spreading glue without leaving globs. So I'm going to take this, and I've decided that's a good paper. I'm going to tear it in the shape of a petal as best I can. And then I'm going to put glue under. And I'm going to put the paper in it. That's a little long. Put the paper in it. And then I'm going to press glue over the top. Now, I didn't come out to the right shape at the tip, but that's okay because when you glue two papers that are the same next to each other, they visually blend into one. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to put a second petal right there, and that is a good tip. And then I'm just going to add another triangle of collage paper right in that space in between to connect and create the tip of that petal. So once you put two pieces of paper that are the same together, you can build petals with a few different pieces. You don't have to rip each one perfectly. You can always make them out of 2 or 3 pieces. So now I need to get a slightly darker orangey yellow for the shadow side. So that's a pretty good color, but I don't like the black lines in it because it's a light color. I don't really want bold black lines in it. Here's an orangey yellow on a rice paper, but it's darker and kind of more vibrant than what I painted. This could be nice, especially in here where it's got a little bit more texture. So let's hold that up. That looks like a good match. So I'm going to put the glue down. I'm going to tear the petal shape as close as I can get it. And I'm going to put the petal in. I want that to be a little thinner. It's a little too wide. I'm going to put that into the glue. I'm going to press the glue over the top, flattening it down with my brush, smoothing it out and flattening it down. The brush is the tool that keeps everything flat. And now I'm going to use a little bit of the same bright yellow collage paper on this flower. Now this one is behind that one. So I need to lay the petals of this one down first so that I can overlap. And again, I'm going to do 2 petals out of this paper. And then I'm going to come in with a different sort of orangey yellow. This one we decided was a little too dark. Let's see if I can find something that has a little bit of visual variety, something a little different. Lots of my oranges are dark. That's a little too dark, but it's a beautiful paper with all those speckles and splattery spots on it. That would have been nice over here in the sunflower. And actually, you can, well, these aren't established. So right here, it would go great right here. So I'm going to tear that and put it right into, and it's a little short, and that's okay because I just can grab a little bit more of the same paper and sort of build that flower out of a petal out of 2 pieces. Putting glue under and over. I'm going to use this again with the purple. I think that would be too much purple, but I think this one could be nice. A little less purple, but putting that down like that, like so. So we found a paper that I was looking for over here, but worked over there. Now, when I'm tearing collage papers, if it is a color that has white on the back, now this is a rice paper where the color bleeds all the way through, so the edges when you tear it are colored and not white, which is really nice. But you do also have collage papers that are white on the back, like book pages. And so the way that I'm going to tear this so that it does not have white edges is that I'm going to take my dominant hand and I'm going to pull up towards me, and I'm going to rotate and keep pulling up towards me with my dominant hand. And then I've got a nice little torn piece without a white edge. And this one I'm going to put right up in here because I see a spot where that would fit perfectly as part of my pink flowers in the background. And I think I need another piece right next to it. So again, I'm going to pull up towards myself with my dominant hand, rotating around so that I'm pulling up towards myself, and then I've got no white edges. And this one's going to go right next to that one. So this week on my Zoom class, live, I have created this floral collage from life. It's just about almost done. And then the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to come back in and we're going to repaint in the negative spaces in the background with a nice neutral color. And we're going to do that at the end because it's going to allow us to edit out any pencil lines that still show up, or paint that came out too far, or things that we don't like. So at the end, we're going to paint that background and we're going to edit out just things that we don't like. I might come in and narrow down the vase, or I might decide that I don't want this leaf after all. And so that's a nice last step. And then we're going to talk about making some marks on top with Stabilo woodies or Posca markers or colored pencils or some kind of fun mark making tool where we can just add a little bit more zip to the collage as a last and final step. So if you're interested in learning fabulous florals with me online, the next opportunity is with the Sedona Arts Center, April 23rd through 25th, 2021, and that is live on Zoom. You're going to really love the experience, and you can have it right from the comfort of your own home. So for more information about how to register and the details of that class, visit my website, workshop listing. That information, that link is in the upper right-hand corner of your video. Thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to seeing you online in Zoom. Happy Friday.